flawed man railing against the universe.
Yes.
I almost thought it was a reference to yourself after I saw the incredible presentation that you gave this morning on set design.
Well, we just met. I hope you wouldn't use flawed so soon in our relationship.
No, it was an incredibly ambitious presentation, and it's only a small, dim reflection of the reality that you hope to achieve on stage.
Right, because what you saw today were the physical aspects of the set design that we hope to bring to Dallas Opera, but there will be a whole video projection film aspect of it, which will now begin to be created, that will be layered on top of that.
Well, let's backtrack a little bit. When you got the call asking you to become the director of this world premiere work by Jake Heggie and Gene Shear, what was your immediate response?
Well, I was cornered in a coffee shop in Houston
better.
by Gene and Jake. I was in the middle of directing their last opera, 3 Decembers, and I knew Jake had this commission. This was a few years ago, and they said, "Can you have coffee?" And they said, "Moby-Dick." And the first reaction, quite frankly, was, "How can you say no to that?"
Mm-hmm.
And it was very early in the process. Not one word of the libretto was written, not one note of music, and so as I've done with Jake and a number of projects, is you just go on faith. You go on faith that these people are going to bring forth something that is exciting and challenging, and I knew Moby-Dick would be hugely challenging, but the reason they brought me on at that point was so that I could be part of the entire process of the creation of the structure of the opera.
In many ways, it appears. You alluded to the fact that you've acted as the dramaturge for this production as well.
Yeah, I mean, actually, that's what I've done that first before I am now taking over my directorial duties, because when it was finally literally handed to me just in October as a finished opera, we had been working for 2 years up until that point, just creating it. I mean, just trying to bring bring the story out of this iconic book.
Did you find it difficult to find the right balance between faithfulness to Melville's original and faithfulness to Heggie and Shear's vision?
Well, I approached them both simultaneously, because they did tell me initially what their approach was going to be. And so I went back to the book. I had read the book years ago, and I went back to the book with
I think we all
that
read the
in
book
mind.
years ago.
Oh, I know. But the first time I read it, I was very engrossed in it. When I read it, knowing we were going to try to put it onto the stage, I was just frightened by the prospect of it, because it's not evident at first what the dramatic story is. Most people I joke saying that it's one of the most famous novels no one's ever read, because people get through about the first 50 or 75 pages. It's not an easy read.
Well, the narrative thread goes every which way.
Oh yeah, and completely unravels for hundreds of pages at a time. And so what is the story? So digging down with Gene, who is already well immersed in it, on what is the nub? What is this story about? Because it's not obvious when you first read the book. At least it's sort of like studying a Shakespeare play. You need to read it over and over and over and over again to see what the larger themes are. Is it a man after a whale? These are much larger. It's the first thing you said. Man railing against the universe. It's what we all do in our lives. What we all do as our bodies become more fragile and our lives, we look for meaning in our lives. And Melville, is taking this theme, and the deeper you go into it, the bigger the themes get, and the more operatic it really becomes.